Hey there, happy Wednesday. Today is October 26th, the last live Wednesday I'm going to do in my favorite time of year, the Halloween season. Where I live, it is so incredibly beautiful right now. All of the leaves are changing colors. It is so pretty, so pretty, so pretty. I just want to just sit outside and paint, but I can't do that because I'm a tarot reader. I'm a pro tarot reader, and Halloween for pro tarot readers is usually like Christmas for mall Santas. We're pretty busy out here slinging cards, going to parties, writing off our Halloween costumes. That is a bonus for being a pro reader. So today, I'm glad for those. Hey, Susan. And for those of you listening in, we're going to do a really, really cool special, scary, spooky spread for this week. Um, but first, I want to talk a little bit about what's popping off for me. This is big stuff. So, in about 12 days on election day, for those of you in the US, my book, and I just got it. Hey, Christina, I just got my book in. This is the final printed version that if you go to Amazon or Llewellyn or anywhere you buy your books, this is what you're going to get. And this came to me in the mail just a couple of days ago. And I got to tell you, it's really overwhelming to see this like fancy pants book and to see my little picture on it and seeing my name on it. Hey, Heidi. So this is available. So I've got these and they are ready to come home to you. I believe that you'll get them a couple days after the 8th if you want the hard copy. At some point, I will be doing something where you can get a signed autograph. And if you're in the US, I will mail it to you. So more on that later. Thank you so much, Heidi, for the congratulations. Yeah. It's still a little hard to wrap my mind around. This has been, thank you, Jonathan. You have a pre order. Thank you, sweetie. This has been in the works for 2.5 years now. The books from beginning to end, they take a long time. They really do. And this book is really everything I've learned in the 30 years of reading tarot plus the 11 years of reading professionally. I've probably done over 10,000 readings easily at this point. So yeah, if you go to my website or you go to the URL domain, will you give me a reading.com, that'll take you to my page. And you can sign up for my newsletter because I do have some goodies in store. I'm going to have a free little book club starting in January. So you want to get in on that. And also, I have a director's cut chapter that I ended up not putting in this book, but will be made available for those who sign up and do a few things for me because I'm all about that exchange of energies. But anyways, anywho, instead of all of that jazz, we're going to talk about today's topic, which is a spread I did back in 2015, and I hadn't done it in a long time, so I thought it was time to revise it. The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. If you read about, hey, Carolyn, oh, it's so good to see you. If you read about the four horsemen of the apocalypse in the Revelations, you can see that it often will look very similar in many ways to our four knights of the tarot. So I want to get into it and talk a little bit about that with you. So today, excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat. So today is one of those rare tarot spreads where we are specifically looking for trouble. Now, often people come to tarot because they want clarity, but mostly hope. They want to know that good things are coming to them, as we all. But for me, this is, as Teresa Reed says, forewarned is forearmed. This is one of those readings where we're looking specifically for bad news so that we either can prepare for it or maybe shift it, because I'm a believer in free will. And it may have enough information for us to really pay attention to the areas of our lives that need a little more care and support. And so, hey, Marion, thank you. I got this hat while I was in Ireland earlier this year. And as soon as the weather turns, I'm putting this bad boy on. It is fall and I am here for it. I buy all my clothes in fall because that is the colors that look good with this little red hedge. You know what I mean? I am like spring in the pastels, pass. Give me fall, give me oranges, browns, greens. I am here for it. So, yeah, anyways, we're going to look for trouble. And here's the thing, dissociation is a hell of a drug, is it not? And that we want to avoid the things that are scary, or we want to avoid the painful things, or the things where that's a lot of work. But I feel that tarot is best used when we're using it prophylactically, when we're using it to get a sense of what's ahead of us. And in that way, tarot is so empowering, isn't it? So I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And that the four horsemen are really talked about in the book of Revelations. And that chapter tells of a book or scroll in God's right hand that is sealed with seven seals. And the Lamb of God, or Lion of Judah, Jesus, opens the first four of the seven seals, which summons four beings that ride out on white, red, black, and pale horses. And though some interpretations differ, in most accounts, the four riders are seen as symbolizing conquest, war, famine, and death, respectively. The Christian apocalyptic vision is that the four horsemen are to set a divine apocalypse upon the world as harbingers of the last judgment. And that I got from Wikipedia. I don't know my Bible, guys. So the white horse says this in Revelation 6:1 and 2. Then I saw when the Lamb broke one of the seven seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying, as it is with a voice of thunder, "Come." I looked, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. And in popular culture, though, this horseman is often also known as pestilence, not just like the conquering leader, or the warmonger. And some may argue with this interpretation, but I feel it kind of works. So I'm going with it. And for that, I'm going to attribute to pestilence the Knight of Cups, what you're drinking in. Right. To me, like that liquid is the medium with which pestilence comes. And traditionally, the cup suit is a healing suit. So in the reversal, we might have illness and sickness for this night. Next, we have the red horse. The red horse, when he broke the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, "Come." And another, a red horse, went out, and to him who sat on it, it was granted to take peace from the earth, and that men would slay one another, and a great sword was given to him. Now, someone may say, like, the great sword kind of corresponds with Knight of Swords, and that might be true, but I'm really feeling like that red horse for me is more like the Knight of Wands, right? Our wands people are full of vim and vigor, are they not? Though you could say this is also Knight of Swords. I think you could switch them if that makes sense to you. But this, I kind of went with the color situation, so that's how it made sense to me. So our hot-blooded fire-related suit could turn warlike if reverse. And so I'm reading that as conflicts. So that Knight of Wands reversed, the Red Knight reversed, is the red horse of the apocalypse. And then we come upon the black horse. When he broke the third seal, I heard the third living creature saying, "Come." I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard something like a voice in the center of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, but do not damage the oil and the wine." And so for me, right, like the money and the black, so that is obviously Knight of Pentacles reversed. So what is famine if not a fundamental lack of resources? And this night, like all the others, we're going to look at the reversal. We could use a deck that has swords as fire element. That's true. And then finally, we have the pale horse. When the lamb broke the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, "Come." I looked, and behold, an ashen horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and Hades was following him. Authority was given to them over the fourth of the earth to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. So I definitely attributed the Knight of Swords to the Pale Rider. And the swords really the sword suit really having more of its fair share of scary cards, such as Ten of Swords, that kind of thing, and the absolute ruin of Ten of Swords. To me, that this knight being the final one made a lot of sense. It is the one that no man can conquer. Or you could even put death there if you'd like. So what we're going to do is I'm going to now take you over to my as I do take you over to my handy dandy document camera. And here we have the four horsemen. And so what we're going to do is there are really four essential questions that we're going to be looking at here. So for the horsemen of pestilence, we're going to be asking, will I become ill in this upcoming year? So I'm really looking at this from the Celtic perspective of the Samhain or Halloween, right, being like the end of one year, and then November 1st being the beginning of the new year. And so what we're looking at is from November on. But if you want to go, I actually want to keep it to January, that's fine too. You go ahead and do that. So will I become ill in this upcoming year? And then we look at the horsemen of war. Will I be involved in major conflicts this year? And then famine. Will I suffer famine of resources this year? And then finally, will I endure a death this year? So for this one, I expand it to be not just your death, but maybe the death of others. So like I said, this is a very provocative reading that you may not want to do, and that's totally fine. But for myself, I like doing these because I like to be kind of warned of what's headed our way. So what we want to do is the number of cards really depends on you, but we are going to place them in a round robin scenario until we feel that they're done. So what I'm going to do is let's do this reading on on the US, on America as the country. And for those of you that are not in this country, I apologize. But I don't feel qualified to go to look at this for anyone else's country. You could do your own country. But I figure this is really nice, a nice time to do this. We have a very important set of elections coming up that are really, really going to shape the identity of our country for the duration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with first the Knight of Cups. It's pestilence, right? And of course, there's been a lot going on with COVID, as well as like all these new flus and colds and respiratory illnesses. So let's take a look and see what's happening with this country. So I'm just going to pull one for each at first, and then Knight of Wands, which is war. We have Knight of Pentacles, which is, famine or resource constraints. And then finally, we have death. So I'll start off with one card each. And then like, if it's like a super, super positive, happy card, then I will probably go no further because I'm like, okay, great. Maybe that's not going to be a main issue that's going to be discussed in the reading. Cool. Barry, I'm going to sit back with popcorn. Oh man, who can I marry in Scotland? Get me out of here. I want healthcare. No, just kidding. Okay, so let's look at Knight of Cups reversed, which is pestilence. And we have Queen of Cups. Now I'm gonna see that as a positive card because Queen of Cups, if we're seeing like cups is healing, Queen is upright, Queen outpowers, is higher in hierarchy than the Knight. And so actually to me, this is a very, very powerful message saying, I think the pestilence part is basically handled, or the vaccines or whatever technology is basically managing what's going on. This doesn't feel like the major issue. So I'm going to stop there probably, and not really, because I'm not looking for where it's good. I'm looking where there's trouble. I'm not going to move any further with this night. Then we're going to look at war. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? We have Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a conflict card, is it not? So very interesting. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. We're going to come back to that one for sure. We're going to look at famine, resources limitations. Seven of Pentacles reversed. We're also going to look at that one. And when I look at that Seven of Pentacles reversed, I mean, well, let's talk about Five of Wands. Like Five of Wands, to me, Five of Wands is not like a major, major war card, but it is a skirmish card. So I'm really hearing like continuing to probably support Ukraine in many ways, unofficially is what I'm looking at so far, but I want to look a little deeper. Seven of Pentacles reversed. I'm looking at that and immediately I'm like, oh man, yeah, hang tight to your 401ks and your investments. Like it's still not moving forward. So Seven of Pentacles upright is often the card of frustration, like things are taking a long time. I don't tend to read reversals as meaning the opposite of what they mean upright. So I'm still really seeing Seven of Pentacles as like frustration. Things are not fruiting like you wish. And in fact, um that reversal is almost like a continuing up and down, with no feeling of when is this going to really start to correct. So I'm going to look a little deeper. And then finally, Knight of Swords, which is death. Oh, that's interesting. We have a Page of Swords reversed. So for me, another court card that's connected to this Knight of Swords can often mean, well, a person, somebody known to most Americans. Page of Swords reversed. This is youth or youngness. This could be students. And what immediately comes to mind is the school shootings. But before I jump to any conclusions and speculate any further, I'm going to do a few more readings. So I'm going to take this night off the table because it was the one that said, this doesn't really look like it's a major problem. All right, cool. So then we are going to look at Knight of Wands, and I'm choosing the cards and interpreting them just as you're seeing them live. I am not I didn't do these ahead of time or anything. So this is all just right now as we are live and I'm giving my interpretation. So we have a skirmish. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me about this skirmish. Uh-huh. We have the Devil reversed. Interesting. So skirmish with the devil reversed. Huh. I really read that as covert actions, right? So the devil is like the Lord of Secrets to me. And the devil reversed here is like maybe even something not known to the average American, what's all going on. So some covert actions entirely. The devil reverse can also be talking about someone in the leadership of other countries who's really just gone off the rails. It can mean that as well. We'll come back to that. And then I'm going to go to Knight of Pentacles. So we have Seven of Pentacles reversed. And then we have King of Wands. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So with that upright King of Wands, and for me, King of Wands is a solar kind of action. And kings for me often mean completion. So I feel looking at this that by maybe the end of 23, we're really going to start seeing things turn around. For me, King of Wands is also very entrepreneurial. So I feel like this feels more like a dip than anything that's long-term in duration. And I mean by years. So for me, that feels complete with this upright King of Wands. That feels for me very warm and solar. And then I'm going to take that off the table. And then, also I'm looking at the lion here and he's kind of glistening like gold to me. So that's another kind of like intuitive visual symbol that, yeah, it's going to continue to suck, but it does feel like there's an endpoint that is showing up in the prediction of the reading. So then we have Knight of Swords reversed and Page of Swords. So let me see if I can get any more information on that. The Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune tells me that this death is by chance rather than premeditated. So I'm going to revise that. Maybe it's a school shooting, unless it's like was completely premeditated and it just happened. For me, the Wheel of Fortune, and I don't tend to read Wheel of Fortune upright or reversed because the wheel is the wheel. But it's like something that just kind of happens very suddenly without premeditative effort. And it just is kind of like like bad luck. So then I'm going to go back to Knight of Wands, and I'm only going to pull up to 3 for these. All right, great. The final card is Ace of Wands. So things are going to feel a little hairy. I do believe that with the Five of Wands, continued skirmishes, lots of covert actions, things that are not being made aware of the public that then actually force things to shift. And Ace of Wands is very nice. It is grabbing the baton. So those warlike skirmishes are happening, but they're happening in a way that may eventually see some resolve that's positive for the U.S. and the allies of the U.S. So, and that devil also with Ace of Wands, like if that's, I mean, let's be honest, we're talking about Russia. This could be like, someone being unseated from that, Knight of Wands could also be political in the US. But the devil reversed is someone with bad intent being unseated, especially with that very positive Ace of Wands at the end of the run there. So I feel like that pretty much resolves that scenario. And then we've got one more reading on the Knight of Swords. Interesting. And we have Four of Wands. Very interesting. This is the hardest out of all of them for me to interpret. Like I don't have an immediate like hit on it. But Page of Swords reverse, like students, young people typically, or someone known to be that to the cultural zeitgeist. Wheel of Fortune, the death occurs not premeditated. There's an accident. And then you have Four of Wands, which is family or homecoming. And so that makes me feel that this is probably a domestic issue, something that happens in the home. Or some such of that. So this could be maybe someone even famous. But I don't feel that this is like nationwide in a huge way that's very that's going to impact a lot of people. At first I thought it could be, but the other cards really kind of make it much smaller. So there you have it. That is looking for trouble. So if you're an American, I would say the thing you most need to, as an individual, the thing I would say is actually don't worry so much. But like your investments, like they're low now, but and they may be low for a while. So, next year you're going to buy your retirement accounts on a discount because it does look like it starts shifting. The energy starts shifting at the end of that time. And that's all she wrote there, my friends. That's what I see for this reading. So there you have it. You can do the 4 nights looking for trouble for yourself or your friends, but word of caution, not everybody is equipped to handle these kinds of readings. If you or someone you love is prone to excessive anxiety and worry, then maybe doing a reading like this is going to be more harm than good. Um, and if you're like, and ask yourself, do I really want to know, or do I need to like not do this? So it's up to you. We definitely don't want to do readings that make people feel terrible. Um, but I myself, I like to see what's coming so that I can prepare as much as I can. So that's it. You're most welcome, friends. Um, oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting too, especially as we're coming up to Samhain. I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween or Samhain kind of. I know it's on Monday, but maybe the weekend leading up that you'll have some fun. On Monday itself, I will be doing a silent supper. So I'm going to be dressing the table with one empty place setting for our beloved dead. And what you can do if you want to do that is you set your table, one place setting is for our dead. And traditionally, you write a letter to maybe that one person that you'd like to communicate with, and you leave the letter on the plate for them. People traditionally make food that maybe the dead loved, your beloved dead loved. I'm going to be honoring my grandmother, and she used to make cornbread. But as I've discovered recently, her cornbread is traditionally more of a Johnny cake, very old, very traditional recipe. So I was thinking about making Johnny cakes and writing her a letter. And so we're going to be inviting a few people, and they're all going to, and then you eat in silence. There's no chit chat. It's just quiet by candlelight as we contemplate and invite our dead to show up. And then at the end of it, we burn our letters and maybe leave out some food somewhere as an offering for them in the night. So maybe that's something that calls to you too. I'm going to do that this year. So anyways, oh, thank you. Loving my YouTube presence. Well, I'm loving YouTube back. I'm also on TikTok like crazy. um, but so that's it. I have yet to pull together. Oh yes, the next thing that's scheduled is on November 8th in the US. That's election day. I'm going to be doing an all-day series of having friends on YouTube Live as well as on Instagram to celebrate my book release. So I think you can go to videos under my channel and go under upcoming, and then you can hit the remind me bell on there so you get reminded, so you'll come, like you'll get an email. From 10 to 11 on the 8th, I'm going to have just some friends, Benabel Wen, Jamie Sawyer, Arwen Lynch, and Nancy Antonucci. That's going to be killer. And then 3 to 4 here on YouTube, I'm going to have some of my squad. I'm going to have Christina Gorman, Jen Seiki, Katiara Marie, and Jennifer Molinex. And then from 8 to 9, I'm going to have V of Red Light Readings, Lisa Robinson, wonderful author through Llewellyn as well, and Thomas of Hermit's Mirror. Then on Instagram from 1 to 1:30, I'm going to have Jamie Elford. She's also a lawyer, an author through Llewellyn from 6 to 6:30. T. Susan Chang, also a wonderful author. And then from 6:30 to 7, I'm going to have Teresa Reed. And I may have some more people on. I don't know who I can stuff in my day, but it's going to be a big day. I hope you can come. We're going to have a lot of fun and just celebrate. So, yes, it is a great lineup. I hope you can come. And if you are, I've had to move into private often for Instagram because of the scammers. So if you're not on my Instagram and you want to follow me, hit follow, but then DM me or something so I know it's you and not one of those scammers. Sometimes it's hard to tell. And then I will add you. So that's it. I'm going to head on over to Instagram where I'm going to do this again for those fun people over there. So again, happy Halloween, Merry Samhain, and If you are of a Celtic religious flavor, Happy New Year to you. And I hope you have a beautiful and blessed rest of your week. And I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.